Welcome to the 1 p.m. event. Today at the Lighthouse, we're talking about safety homes, specific to people with visual impairments. I want to share with you that we are having events every single day this week. Tomorrow we are talking about a mobility topic, orienting yourself to a room that you're unfamiliar with. This can be helpful if you go to different areas that aren't, I guess familiar with, like doctor's offices or families' homes or wherever. On Friday, we have a guest speaker for our stress management section. Her name is Gigi. She will be giving us lots of stress management and coping skills. And then immediately after at 2:15, if you wish to just stay on, our wonderful instructor Pam is going to be going through some adjustment to vision loss topics in our support group. The support group in the week is the only event that is not recorded. That's because we wanted to have some privacy so that you can express yourself freely. Thank you for being here, everyone. I know that we've all been experiencing some, I guess, craziness. I know some of us are feeling a little bit like shut-ins. So hopefully this gives you some support in this time. I know I've said it before, but you're actually supporting the Lighthouse anytime you attend one of these meetings. We really appreciate it, and we hope you learned something. So with that said, I'm going to pass on, pass the baton. I keep saying that. I'm trying not to say it, but I can't think of another phrase that makes sense, to Terry and Kathy.
Hello, I'm Terry, and I'm a new instructor at the Lighthouse. I do not have the visual impairment, but I am going to talk to you about home safety today. And with me is going to be Kathy.
Hi.
There you go.
I'm Kathy, and I do have a visual impairment, and I'm also an instructor at the Lighthouse. So welcome, everybody.
All right, so let's get started without any further ado. Let's talk about our home. What is your home to you? It's where you live, where you relax, you entertain, you do hobbies. We're spending a lot of time home right now, especially because of the virus. We've spent a lot of time and money getting our home just the way we want it, right? We're decorating, we're making it feel like home, we're making it a reflection of who we are. But what happens when we start to lose our vision or have visual changes? Our homes can become a dangerous place, not even feel like home, maybe a foreign environment to you. And maybe you're rethinking that metal porcupine statue you have in the foyer, or the big fluffy bear rug, or maybe all the glass tables and knickknacks that you have on top of them. While we're home a lot of people have started cleaning out their junk drawer or their closets, things that they've been putting off for a very long time. But this is also a great time to maybe make some safety changes in your house, especially if you are experiencing some vision changes. And that's so that we can avoid some trips to the hospital and really get to know our house real well. So what we're going to talk about today is home safety. And I want to give you a few statistics first that I found very interesting, is that 70 to 80% of falls at home are at home, and 2/3 of those are on level surfaces. So what does that equate to? About 50% of the falls are at home, and there's no good reason why. Other than, as we age, our reaction time, we get injured, our balance changes sometimes, we're not as active. But I think one of the biggest things is our vision, because 80% of our sensory information for those who are sighted does come from our vision. So it's no wonder we're fearful when our vision changes. So we have to learn to use some of our other senses, whether it be tactile or our hearing. Some things also that could help is making simple organizational habits and changes. And then you can continue to be independent and do all that you want to do by orienting yourself, which I think Maddie said they'll talk about tomorrow a little bit, and organizing yourself for success. And then that'll give you freedom to move about your home with confidence. The next statistic that we have here is that the risk of falling is 2.5 times greater for people with visual deficits than those without. So what does this mean? It means they have a reduced contrast sensitivity possibly, which they don't see edges or clutter. It kind of blends together, or obstacles. We also have reduced depth perception possibly. So you can't judge the distance. Where is that step? You know, where is that threshold? The next one is reduced visual field. So you may have just your central vision, or you may just have peripheral vision, or you may have half and half of a visual field or quadrant in your eye. Increased sensitivity to glare, that's another one where, you know, you need bright indoor lighting, maybe sunlight bothers you, or going from a bright area to a darker area. And actually I saw on YouTube, there was a gentleman that was talking about he falls more during the day because there is light. And while you think that might be a little strange to say, he has had pretty much not, you know, just very minimal vision. So he sees light, like night lights and things like that. And so at nighttime, he says he's actually more successful because he knows this night light is over here and that light's over there. And he kind of guides himself through his house with the lights. But during the day, it is now the night lights don't come on. So he has more trouble during the day. And that could be some of you as well. And in that case, he says he uses dark curtains or blackout curtains, things like that, maybe to help. And then the next statistic is that people with low vision are 3 times more likely to avoid activities. And that's due to the fear of falling. So this creates a chain reaction. Once you start losing your vision, you avoid an activity. Your endurance maybe goes down, so you're decreasing your muscle strength, you're decreasing your coordination, which is decreasing your balance. Therefore, you're going to have more falls and more fear and then do less. So how do we fix that? Well, there's a few ways. Balance exercises, which may be another video eventually. Mobility training, which we'll be doing some of that tomorrow. And creating a safe home environment. So how do we do that, you ask? Well, first thing is understand that you are having some visual impairment changes, and we really just need to slow down. You need to, don't rush like you do normally going out the door. The other thing is know your home real well, which is what we're going to talk about, and organize yourself. Educate people that come into your home so that they don't then mess up your organizational system. And then practice. You need to practice. It'll increase your safety, your confidence, and your independence. So we want to talk about really knowing your home, and that includes inside and out. Why would you think that, maybe Kathy, we would want to know the outside of our house, for example?
Well, if we're leaving the house to go somewhere, we want to be able to exit our home safely. That means negotiating steps or curbs or obstacles in a driveway or in a walkway. If you live in a facility where there's an elevator, you need to know where that is and, you know, be able to manage the controls. And when you come down on the exit floor, be able to go out safely to either a car or wherever you're going. You want to look around the outside of your house, and just for general safety's sake, you want to make sure the shrubberies are trimmed. There's no overhanging branches that you could walk into or could hit you in the face. There's no roots that might trip you if you get off the sidewalk. You want to be able to, you know, get from point A to point B very safely and confidently. Sidewalk lighting or landscape lighting, if you live in your own home, is an option because that's low-level lighting, but it will give you little polka dots of light down the driveway or down a sidewalk and help guide you and keep you on the sidewalk instead of wandering off into the grass or something. We find that you can mark your steps with a raised tape or a contrasting color tape so you can see the edge of the steps, and that way you won't slip and fall. Throw rugs or doormats at the bottom of steps or doorways kind of give a physical indication that you have something coming up. You want to keep furniture clear of your pathway. So if you have that lovely lawn set or table and chairs, make sure the chairs are tucked in. Make sure you have some free space to move about from the door to where you're exiting, or be able to get over to the table and chairs safely.
Okay.
Terry, can you think of anything else?
Yeah, well, not a whole lot, but when you're talking about lighting, you can really possibly install some sensor lighting. So as you're walking out, it comes on automatically. The lighted walkways, like you said, contrast tape. If you have stairs or a hand railing, know how many steps that is. If it's 5 steps, that'll take, you won't have to try and use your vision. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm on the landing. Maybe even have some kind of tactile cues. If you do live in an apartment where you have to go upstairs and there's a hand railing, I mean, you might be able to put something near the top, like what was that we had the other day, the sandpaper maybe, that has a little sticky edge or something that you could attach underneath it, and you could feel that and know that you're getting to the landing. You talked about the foliage, but also if it's, fall, or like even now, a lot of these oak trees are dumping leaves, and then it rains, there's a slipping hazard right outside your door. So keep your hoses, your leaves, everything out of the walkways, and it'll be a lot safer for you. And when you're looking at the outside of your house, you also want to kind of check your windows, check them from the inside as well, make sure the locks are working. Not only to keep people out, but should there be an emergency and that's your only exit, that you can actually open that window and get out yourself. And therefore you don't want something, you don't want to have a spiky plant right outside the window. So make sure that your locks are working and that your windows open. Sometimes older homes, they kind of stick, and then you'll be in a lot of trouble if that's the case in your home. You want to make note of any cracked or uneven pavement, where things might puddle, maybe around your gutters, if it's, spewing the leaves and the water onto your driveway and then you walk through it and slip. And then this kind of leads us, I have a few pictures I'm going to share with you, the things we just kind of talked about. I don't know, for you, those of you that can see it, we will, let me see if I can get it. Been having a problem today. Okay, so let me get to that, and I'll explain what's in. There's only a couple pictures. I'll explain what they are. Okay. All right. So here we have an outside set of stairs. At the top of the stairs, there's bright lighting by the door. And then the stairs have lighting on the sides that are shining onto the steps. The steps are gray. There's also a non-skid black contrast tape, I guess, to the steps. So this is everything done kind of correctly. And you can't see in the picture, but on the left-hand side of the screen, there is also a handrail, which makes that, more doable for people with very low vision. So what we do want to do is add lighting, add contrast to the stairs, and add non-skid where you can. The next picture I'm showing here is the lighting, the landscape type lighting. We have a cement pavement, and then there's a grass line, and then they have the lighting kind of in the grass line, and it has really bright white enclosed, so it probably looks like white dots as you're going along, so you kind of know if you're going to be getting into the grass. The other picture is the don't picture, which, like I said, we all want to make our homes our own and maybe be a little decorative, but these little landscape lights, not only is there cracks between the pavement patches where there's grass, but there's also the lighting. It has a design on the outside of the bulb, so it's casting a very wild pattern on the ground, which could be very confusing as to where you're at. And this next picture is a before and after picture. The pavement is all kind of the same terracotta color, and the top landing has a mosaic look to it, so it's terracotta with white grout. Then the steps are terracotta with white grout, but they're square. And from the top, you can't really tell if the squares are part of the top or maybe that's where the step starts. And then at the bottom, the driveway or the carport is also kind of a terracotta color, so there is a black mat at the bottom. So the after picture is a little better. It is marked with white tape. There is a handrail here. There is white tape at the edge of each step. So even though it's still a little confusing on the top landing, you can still see that there is white tape showing the edge of the steps. And again, if this is your own home, you know it's 3 steps. Hold the handrail, 1, 2, 3, you know you're at the bottom. If you have a visual cue, it would be the black mat. Once you hit the black mat on the bottom, which you can feel as well as hopefully see a little bit, then you know you're at the bottom and you can go from there. Okay, so this next picture is a couple of ways to mark either a threshold or your steps, and these are more industrial looking. There's a black tape with a neon green line through the middle, which you can cut and mark your steps again. And the thing I kind of liked about that is you could glue that on, and at nighttime the green is actually glow in the dark. So it may light up, and if you have some vision, you may notice that. During the day, you could also see the green or the black against most colors. And then the next one, it actually says it's a yellow and white sign that says watch your steps. So that might indicate to you that there is a level change, like stepping in or out of your garage, your front step. It's just 1 step, but it is a level change. And some people do still have those drop living rooms, I think. So you might have to step down or up when you're doing that, and you can mark that with tape as well.
And handrails are pretty important too as far as steps go. Even if it's 1 step up or down, just to have the rail there to hang on to as you're changing elevations, that comes in handy, and to keep your balance.
Right, right. So that's basically what we want to talk about as far as, am I on the screen here? Because I'm
No, I am.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, so we were talking about the outside of your house. So knowing where things are, making sure it's safe to walk in and out. And then I want to kind of talk a little bit about the garage, because that is another area where you might come in. If you pull into your garage, again, the step up, or we also want to talk real quickly, not a lot, but a little bit about the electrical panel, your valves and things for your water, to basically know where those things are, and if they are blending in, like I know my garage has gray walls and my gray panel. So you could put some tape around the exterior of that to kind of be able to see it a little better, a contrasting color. And you always want to know where your house, maybe it's your lights and you really need to see. You can just do the main breaker all at once. It's going to hit them all. You might have to redo some clocks, but at least you got it taken care of. And the way to do that is to either have someone show you, or you could mark it with a bump dot or a brightly colored paint, puff paint, something like that, so you know where it is. And the other important thing about the electrical panel is to make sure that even if your garage is a little messy, that you have a clear pathway to it. And then that way you can get to it, fix what you need to, go inside, and then either call if you have no
Excuse me, Terry, you're breaking up.
What's that?
Terry, this is Pam.
Oh, hello.
You're breaking up, and I didn't hear what were we marking with a bump dot because you kept going in and out.
The main breaker in your electrical panel. So if you can't see, you can at least feel which one will turn all of your electric on and all of your electric off.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. So, and then as far as the toilet valves and under the sink valves, things like that, to just mainly know that if you hear water running and maybe you felt it on the ground and you know there's a leak coming from somewhere, know how to turn those off so that you can make it a little safer for yourself and until you have time to call the plumber or a friend or your handyman or whoever. So we want to be able to take care of a few little minor things ourselves at home, and the best way to do that is to have someone show you where they are, mark them the way you need to, make sure there's a clear path, and then practice. So the other big safety thing is for fire. You know, we want to make sure that our smoke detectors work. So know if you have them, know where they're located. Push the button, make sure they're working, change the batteries every now and again. And the other thing, like we were talking about the windows, is to have your escape plan and practice it, because you need to find a safe spot to go outside. If you live with other people, then, you know, if you practice, they know how much time it'll take you. So maybe they're like, oh, it's been a minute, she's not here yet. Well, we know it takes her 5 minutes to get out that window or out that back door. So practicing, it lets people feel a little more safe and a little more confident that, you know, we need to give it a little more time, or is there something really wrong? You should know several routes out of your house for each room, actually, which I think will be another topic at one time. But like I said, practice, you know, if you can practice every month or every other month, you know, and again, the windows, because you may need it for ventilation if you have a gas leak or something like that. So we definitely want to make sure our home is in working order. And so I kind of want to open it up and ask a few people, I don't know if Maddie, you can unmute everybody. What are some of the mishaps or falls you've had recently since, or even bumping into things since you've had your visual changes? And where in your home, and what was the culprit that caused it?
Everyone is unmuted. If you wish to participate, please press, or rather just say your first name before you participate. If it looks like there's lots of noise coming from your phone, I'm going to mute you. So if you need to say something after that, you can press *6.
So anyone had a fall or an injury caused in the home, and where did that happen, and what was the reason?
Terry, this is Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Did you, in dealing with the fire, did you mention, because you keep going in and out in my house, I can't hear what you're saying. Did you mention anything about having a meeting place outside after you exit, so we don't worry that you're in the backyard and they're supposed to meet in the front yard, that kind of thing?
Right, and that's why you want to definitely know your home inside and out. You want to know what's going to be in your way, and that's why I'm saying practice your route so that you know that there's this tree is going to be in my way when I go around the right side of the house, and we're going to meet at the mailbox or whatever area. You're going to be safer if you know what's along that route.
And did you address anything about having throw rugs on the floor?
Not yet, but we're getting there.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. We're outside still.
Reminder, this is web-based, so if your internet is not so great, it might come in and out. If you stay tuned throughout the week, we are posting them on YouTube. So you will have a second chance to listen to this if you require it.
Thank you.
Okay, so has anyone had any falls or slips or cuts or anything at home now that you've had some
I have.
Yes.
This is Pam again.
Uh-huh.
I was in the bathroom and I was doing fine, but I stood up too fast from using the services, and my blood pressure dropped, and I fell and I hit the edge of the door, and I needed 12 stitches, and I'm on blood thinner. I mean, it turned out all my face was black and blue. Praise God, nothing was broken. But it did knock me out. And I mean, it turned out from just a simple getting up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, to absolutely major. So easy as I don't know, just watch your blood pressure, I guess, because I have low blood pressure and that was my issue.
Yeah, that's a good point, that we're talking about low vision techniques here, but as we all age, we definitely are going to have those other issues, whether it's caused from medication, from your blood pressure, all kinds of things like that, that we definitely need to have a safe home for as well. And with a visual impairment, it's going to make it even more difficult. So we're going to get ahead and go ahead and move on. And the things that we're going to go through some of the rooms, and the things that I want you to be aware of is that as we're talking, that you're actually looking or thinking about your own home, and in these areas, what might possibly be a hazard for you. And then we'll discuss on how we could, some of the techniques on how to change that. And the things I want you to think about are your past knowledge. Have I fallen in this room before? Have I cut myself in this room before? Have I slipped on something? So that's going to give you your first clue about what might need to be changed. Next is anticipate the hazards. So I know I keep my dog bowl and food bowl, we talked about dogs yesterday, in the kitchen. And my dog is a Yorkie and has a little bit of long hair around the mouth, and she eats and drinks, and then the next thing you know, there's a trail of water dripping off of her beard. So I know, so that's me anticipating. I know when I go into the kitchen, if I've heard my dog lapping up water, I know I better watch out because I might slip. Again, then you have to also think about the type of flooring. Are you walking on carpet? Is there tile or laminate or wood? And what type of footwear maybe you need to be wearing around the house if that's the case. Sometimes barefoot might be okay, as in carpeting, or maybe some kind of rubber socks, like the little that they give you in the hospital, the little grippy socks. Or maybe you need more support. If your balance is off, you might want to wear, your tennis shoes or your supportive shoes, even in the house. The next thing you want to think about is declutter. Is there clutter all over this room that I keep tripping over? Is there clutter on the counter? I keep knocking onto the floor, and then I have, either a spill or something sharp that I might step on. Is there enough lighting for what I'm doing and to get me where I need to go? And then we can also look at, is there enough contrast in the room? Are my carpets patterned? That is, if you have low vision, a patterned carpet could really kind of throw you off. You might think it's a cord, or you might think the design on it is part of a furniture, and you don't really kind of know where the edge of that carpet is. And then again, there's let's call it undecorate. You spent years decorating, but now maybe we need to undecorate. All those pictures lined up all along the buffet in the dining room, or, if you have a lot of knickknacks, things like that, maybe you need to put them behind something, a glass type cabinet, or put them away for now. Put them on shelves, hang them on your walls, things like that, to kind of give all of your surfaces in your house a little less hazard, I guess, for you. So those are the kind of things you need to think about when you go into each of your rooms. So Kathy, I think we're going to go when we get in the front door. Maybe you have a motion sensor light up right so that you can get into the door, first of all.
Okay.
And then we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we could have right near the door to make our lives easier coming and going.
Okay, sometimes when you walk in the door, some people keep umbrellas by the door because when rainy season starts, we want those handy. So they should be in a container that they're not going to be knocked all over the floor. When people come into your house, if you're would like people to take their shoes off, have a designated spot. And a basket is just perfect for putting those things in, because everybody can put their shoes in the basket, they're contained, and they're not getting knocked around the room, so would eventually cause a trip hazard. Pam mentioned throw rugs, and this is a good time to get rid of all your throw rugs, because it's very easy for your toe to pick up the edge of the throw rug and pick it up and make it a big obstacle, and it would be something to trip over. So get rid of your throw rugs. You also want to have like a designated place for your keys and stuff, so you're not leaving them on the floor or knocking them off or misplacing them all the time. Having a place for those keys when you walk in. That'll also help when you're leaving, so you know how to lock up the house. And in the entryway, you might want a nice light so that you can come in, and if you have enough vision, the light would be helpful to get in and get into the next room. So that would lead us right into the living room. And you've got a coffee table there perhaps, and if it's a dark color and it kind of blends in with your flooring, you could consider putting a white table runner or light colored placemats or doilies maybe at the edges to give you an indication where that coffee table is. Or you might decide that running into it too many times is just not worth it. So you might want to get rid of the coffee table and have that obstacle out of your way. You might consider throwing contrasting color throw pillows on your sofas or chairs to kind of give you a direction to find those items. And again, you want to keep chairs and ottomans out of the way so that you don't trip over them. Keep your end tables clear of things. If a lamp is helpful for you, you know, have that, and you know, just one or two items so that if you are sweeping across the table, you don't knock things off onto the ground, and then you've got all kinds of cleanup to deal with. And that takes us into the dining room.
Well, Kathy, let me add one thing here. I do
Okay.
have at the front door, if you do have some other medical problems, and especially people living there with low vision that might have trouble getting out of the house in an emergency, there are some programs that you can do. I think in Charlotte, there's the Red Dot program. You can call and get a sticker that you put outside your front door. And then there's a list of your medications and your history that you can put on your refrigerator. So when they see that, they can then know to go to the refrigerator and get any medical information that you might not be able to provide or someone else might not be able to provide for you. There's also, I have a copy of one of these here. It's the Vial of Life. It's from the AmericanMedicalAlarms.com. And you can print these out at your own home. It's two little red, I don't know if you can see it, two red squares about 2 inches each. It says Vial of Life, and it has the medical emergency cross on it. And basically, you print that out, you cut them out. I have one here that I laminated, and you can stick this on the outside of your door. That way, if emergency medical people show up, they know to go to your fridge also. You can also put it in a Ziploc bag and put it on there in case it's raining or something like that. But then you also have another form with it that you fill everything out. You could have your doctor fill it out, or you could have someone in your house fill it out with your medical history, and then you put that in a Ziploc bag with the other sticker that says Vial of Life, and you attach this to your refrigerator. That way everything is in one place, and you should update that as often as, you know, when things change, so that they have the most current information and can help treat you in the best manner possible at the time. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? The front door is to always really, is for personal safety, to lock the door when you get in the house. And And then I think you were talking about the living room. Again, the rugs and the tables, any kind of flimsy tables you have, or little knickknacks or statues that just are freestanding that could get knocked over, again, are a potential hazard. As far as having company, if your grandkids are coming over, or you just have, you know, a lot of toys in the way, things like that, you might want to have a bin maybe that they can put those in when they're visiting, you know, just even if you get a laundry basket or something, say when your kids are done, can you put everything in this basket for now? That way, you know, you're safe. You can always ask mom or dad if, you know, there's anything in your path. And then also, if you're doing any of the mobility training, you know, you keep your cane with you, and you can always, you know, detect if something is in front of you after you've had company. And that's a big part of your home safety, is definitely educating people that come to your home in not reorganizing your home or thinking this might be better here, this might be better there, and they just move things and then you can't find them. So part of that is just educating them and saying, you know, I have my own organizational system. I would appreciate it if, you know, you don't change that while you're here, because I could injure myself after you leave. So as far as the dining room, I think you talked about pushing chairs in, having clear pathways, and if you're, you know, if you want to still be able to help set the table, things like that, this is where we're going to want to use that contrast. So if the plates are white and the tablecloth is white, and you want to set the table, it's going to be a little frustrating for you. So maybe have either a different colored plate or have a different colored placemat, so that, you know, you can feel confident you're getting the plate in the right place and things like that, and not end up dropping something on the floor that could then be potentially a hazard for you. All right, so that leaves us with basically the last couple areas in your home, which are probably the most dangerous, is the kitchen and the bathroom. Kathy, did you want to talk about one of those?
I'll take the bathroom,
Okay.
or the necessary room. There's a lot of dangers in the bathroom. As Pam had said, you know, getting up quickly from a seated position, and you don't always think to rise up slowly, but it might be something to keep in the back of your mind. A lot of people like to take their phones into the bathroom with them, so in case something happens, they're able to make a call. The other thing I want to mention is the good old-fashioned life alert buttons that you can get and have a subscription to, and with that you would wear it either around your neck, or some models are on your wrist like a watch. So if you fall, then you've got the button right there to call an emergency. If you fall, you may not always have your phone with you, and you may not be able to reach up to the counter to get it. So having those life alert buttons can be a good thing, especially if you're alone, and, you know, just want to have that peace of mind in the back of your head. Some of those have ranges so that if you wear them into the store and something happens, you can always summon help. In the bathtub, you can install grab bars on either side of the bathtub, and that helps you get in and out. I've noticed as people get older, they get a little stiffer in the joints, and maybe stepping into the bathtub is a difficult issue, and having a grab bar to hang on to can help you keep your balance going in and out of the tub. You want to put a non-skid surface in the tub, or a mat with a contrasting color, so that gives you a destination, a landing point. You want to make sure your bath mat on the outside of the tub when you get out, whether it's a bath or a shower, you want to make sure that mat is not going to slip when you step onto it. You can install grab bars around your commode and have that little extra sense of security as you sit down and stand up. Lighting, having a night light in the bathroom so you can find the doorway. And my mind just went blank.
Well, I did want to say something. I want to share with you a couple of pictures here. And definitely your switch plates and light switches should have some kind of contrast so that you can find them. And there's also, I found online just yesterday, and I'm going to share this with you. Let me see if it'll open here. I don't know if everybody can see this, or I'm going to explain it to you. And basically, if you, oh, it's not opening. There we go. Okay, so it's a light switch that has a built-in sensor so that when the lights are off and it's dark, it's actually a night light. So it will lead you right to your light switch. And I thought that was pretty neat. There's a 2-pack here on Amazon for $36. So maybe one in your bedroom and one in your bathroom so that at nighttime you can find the light switch. You can have a little bit of lighted area in your room also. This next picture is like she was talking about, the contrasting bath mat. So if you have a white tub, maybe a black one or a blue one here they have, maybe red, depending on what your colors are. And that'll help you make sure that you're stepping into the right spot where it is non-slip. And then on this other picture, there's a couple feet here, and they're showing that you can get those non-skid decals like they used to have, the little flower patterns that would peel up way back in the day in the 70s or whenever that was. And then these are like strips, so you have a little bit less chance of slipping if you are standing in the shower. The other, this one here is a grab bar getting out of the tub, and then right near the doorway. And the other one is hanging vertically, and it is on the other side of the tub, so near the faucet. So if you're standing and turning off the faucet, you have a handle there. If you're in the tub and you stand up, you might more likely be towards the back of the tub, and you can reach for the one in the back. And as Kathy said, you can also still, put one near the toilet, and that will help you stand as well as give you a little stability. If you get that lightheadedness, you have something to grab onto, like Pam was saying, and then just sit yourself back down for a minute until you feel a little better. Another tub bar is here, and this is something you can buy. It's showing here at Amazon, $29, that you basically just clip over the edge of your tub and you tighten it down, and it has kind of a rail that stands upward. So when you go to get out of the tub, you have something that you can hang on to. It's a curved bar that goes on both, out of the tub and into the tub, so that you kind of have a handle that you can then lift your feet up over the tub instead of having something installed on the wall. However, the wall mount is probably your safest bet because the contractors are going to make sure that it is done correctly, I hope. And again, here are some carpets. I wanted to show you some of the pictures we kind of bypassed. That this is what's wrong. This one is very busy on the left. It has swirls and big lines. The other one is a gray carpet on a gray floor. You're not going to know where the edges of that carpet are, and you could very easily trip. And then this next one, we have the correct way of using throw rugs, should you choose to do that. The first picture has 2 white sofas with a bright red carpet in the middle. There is no coffee table, as we said. And it looks like these might be recliner type chairs, so maybe that's why, but it also kind of marks out an area of interest. So this is the living room, and the carpet's right in the middle. The next one is a red carpet down a gray floor going to a white kitchen, so it can also lead you to an area. And then the final one is they have looks like a black type floor and some white chairs. And that's a good contrast, but if you want to add a pop of color, then they have like an aqua colored throw rug and aqua colored pillows, and that should help as well. So those are just some of the contrast things we were talking about. And I'm gonna get off of this screen, hopefully. And what's that?
I wanted to mention, if you are going to take your phone into the bathroom, make sure when you're done, you wipe it down with an antiseptic wipe. You can't stick it under the faucet and wash it, but you can wipe it down with the antiseptic wipes. We just want to keep things clean.
And appropriate at this time, right?
Yes, absolutely. Then you can also invest in switch plate covers that are contrasting color or that are raised or have a texture, a distinctive style. So if you're running your hand against the wall, you can feel that switch plate a little more easily. And when you're in the hallway, night lights are your friends. You know, you can stick them in the rooms by the doorway, or if you have a long hallway with an outlet in it, putting night lights in there that have the light activated lights, you know, the sensors, so that they'll come on in the dark and they'll go off during the day. But that might help give you a straight path down the hallway in your home.
Right. And again, like I'm saying, we need to think about each room as you enter it. Is there something in the way? What kind of flooring is this? Can I slip? Can I fall? Can I cut? Can I burn? You might have hair products or curling irons, different things like that that are hot. Make sure you have a little basket that maybe you can set those in when they're cooling off, and make sure everything's unplugged. You know, electric shock is also something you need to think about. You know, after you unplug things, make sure your cords are intact, that there aren't any frayed cords. And there's no water, like they're not sitting in water before you plug them in and things like that. So that's kind of like helpful for the electrical part of it. But then the burn also, you want to make sure that there's some way that you're not going to like accidentally put your hand down on that and get a burn that way. I think the other thing I wanted to mention is that maybe in your bedroom or maybe in your, you know, near the bathroom at least, that you can use things like a flashlight or Alexa, you know, where you can install the little bulbs and say, Alexa, turn lights on. And then you have some lighting before you even get up and get out of bed. And then you can get into bed safely and say, Alexa, turn the lights off. I hope I'm not turning someone's lights on and off that's listening. So there are those kind of things as well. And then I guess our biggest safety area is the kitchen, or possible hazard area, I should say. And I think Kathy had talked a little bit about it when we did our cooking segment about being aware of the clothing you're wearing, you know, nothing flowy that you lean over the oven or over the stove and it catches on fire. Make sure your hair is pulled back. Having a fire extinguisher and knowing where it is and how to use it. Maybe having, if you're cooking, especially with grease or something, you have a lid to put on that pot if something does, you know, catch on fire. And I guess just your typical safety things for people in your home or for yourself, that, you know, you don't leave doors half opened or cabinets half opened or the refrigerator open, the dishwasher down, because these are things that are going to make you trip. But also, if you do put things on the counter, to push them more back towards the backsplash, so that if you do run your hand along the counter and it's helping you find your way, you aren't knocking things right onto the floor. Using color contrast mats if you have to. Knowing where your GFI outlets are, you know, knowing if you smell gas, that, you know, you need to turn off the gas and maybe mark your appliances for that. Kathy, can you think of some other things in the kitchen that we should definitely be thinking about?
Well, in addition to shutting your cupboards and oven doors and dishwashers and microwaves and the drawers and cupboard doors, if you drop something on the floor in the kitchen near the counter, keep one hand on the counter as you lean down to get whatever's dropped. That way you've got a idea where the countertop edge is, and you won't rum your head into it when you stand up after you've picked up the item. Getting knocked on the head by countertops, it's painful. I've done that and I don't like doing it, so now I keep one hand on the edge of the counter as I bend over to pick up whatever's dropped. making sure if you have an electric stove, if you run your hand over above the stove top, just to feel that there's no heat coming out, and that way you can tell that all your burners are turned off. And that's about all I got.
Okay. And the other thing we were talking about, maybe knowing where your valves are for shutting off the kitchen sink, or the sink is organizing also under your cabinets. So if you do have a leak or you need to get to that valve, there's things in bins you can just pull out. Making sure that you keep all of your poisons and things separate, and maybe behind a locked cabinet or up higher where kids can't get to, and you don't mix them up with food. So I think some of those things will help you be able to navigate around your house, take care of a few things yourself confidently, and also keep you very safe. And I think mostly we've talked about pretty much everything in the house. Is there anything you can think of that we missed? I do have some other pictures of, having the key hooks, having a purse hook, having a combination kind of thing like that. And like Kathy said, especially if you have very low vision, you're going to want to know that I can walk down the hallway this way, grab my purses right there, my keys are hanging right there. So you have to build these habits that you do over and over and over again. Practice. You won't even have to think about it if you practice. And then that way you can always feel confident and safe in your own home, which is what we all want. We don't want to have to think about these things all the time. They need to become second nature, just like they are when you had perfect vision, or, so you want to be able to entertain in your home. You want it, but part of that is educating and letting people know that you need things a certain way, or when they go to leave, to help you, if you want to help you put things back the way they were. And I have to say that since I started working at the Lighthouse, I've said some really weird things to people, I think, because you forget they're just people, and losing your vision doesn't change anything, really. You can do a lot for yourself. You can still live your life the way that you want to. And like me, I'm constantly saying probably the dumbest things to Randy, who has no vision, because I'm always like saying, oh, well, look at this, or do, and it's just kind of like, he's just a great person. So you get past any kind of vision problems by staying organized, by staying safe, and you can just enjoy your company and have a few laughs. So I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, Kathy?
Yeah, I just
ask some questions.
I just wanted to add a few things. One thing is, for part of your safety, is to keep a first aid kit handy. And if you have other people in the house with you, make sure they all know where it is. If you get cut or if you get injured, you might need to do some first aid. And to have that kit handy, you'll save a lot of time and frustration, instead of looking around the house going, oh no, the bandages are here somewhere. In addition to keeping a phone handy on you at all time, or maybe that life alert alarm, you can also carry a whistle. If you don't feel like you're ready for a life alert, carry a whistle around your neck. So if you run into trouble, you can blow that real hard. And, if you're outside, somebody will hear you, or, maybe somebody else in your house will hear you.
That's a very good point. I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I have one more thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The last thing is to keep your important papers in a safe spot, a handy spot, and let everybody in the house know where that is. And when you're practicing your exit routes for, your fire drills, or if there's an emergency and you have to get out of the house, make them in a spot where they're easy to grab if you need to leave. It's important with hurricane season coming up that you get organized. And now that we're all home all the time, we have plenty of time to get this stuff together. So.
Right. And like you were saying, you could use a whistle. If there's someone living with you, you could hear that. But they also sell very cheap little audible alarms that they tell the kids to put on their backpacks, or you can carry with you if you're, going out at night. And I mean, it's a really loud noise. So it could be if you're in an apartment or, assisted living or something where you can't get to a call button or a phone, that you can sound that alarm, and believe me, people will come running. So that is something you could have as well, that you can carry in your pocket or wear on your wrist. They have a lot of they even have necklaces and things like that. So if you are alone in your own home or room, that audible noise could really get someone's attention, and you don't have to count on you blowing into the whistle or something like that. But if you do live with somebody, that may be all that you need. So that's very good advice, Kathy.
Thank you.
So does anyone have any questions, or we had so much to cover, I'm sure we left a few things out. So if you have any other questions, what I'd really like you to do is to think about if you, during this presentation, had identified any areas in your own home that were possibly hazardous, and if you think you have something that you can maybe change immediately to make your own home safer. Anyone? Maddie, can you open it up? I don't know if everybody can unmute.
Everyone is unmuted, so
Unmute.
say conversation, just say your first name.
Hi, this is Sandy.
Hi.
Guys, can you hear me? This is Sandy.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wanted to just lighten the topic for 1 second. I noticed you mentioned about having the telephone in the bathroom and having the antiseptic wipe handy to wipe it down. Where would you get one of those now? I don't have any. You can't find those now, girls.
Say something.
That's all I wanted to say.
This is Maddie. You know what else they have? They actually have these UV sanitizers specifically for your phone. So if you are
Right.
my mind now every day instead of
Not disconnect.
because everybody can't get out.
You can raise your hand. Raise your, no, you can raise your hand.
On Zoom.
Hi, Patty. I see ya. What's up?
Yeah.
Patty?
Okay, you got me?
Yep.
Okay. I have something funny to tell you,
Great.
you guys. My granddaughter moved into our house while we've been gone this winter,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she has rearranged the bathrooms, and she's working on the kitchen now. And I'm going to have a real good time when I go home. I just thought I appreciate her working so hard while she's not working, but or going to while she's quarantined, but it's going to be hard when I go home.
Well, you'll probably have to get the grand tour of your own home.
Yes, I probably will.
Yeah. And then reorganize what makes sense to you and ask her to keep it that
Leave
way.
it that way.
You will need to orientate you to things she's moved around.
What did you say? I missed it.
Hey, Latricia, did you say something?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yep.
was saying that she would need, sound like she would need orientation around to figure out where things are.
Yes, I will do that.
And again, I think part of that is maybe you have your own little basket in each cabinet for what you need, and then just say, don't touch it. Hands off.
Luckily, my pots and pans are hanging from the ceiling at home, so I
That's
can
what
find
you
those
think.
very easily.
Very
That's
good.
What you think? It may not be anymore.
If they aren't there, I'm gonna strangle her. Just joking.
Terry, this is Pam.
Yeah.
I had a client once who had, I don't know what to call it, but it's like a palsy of the hand where they shook, besides being low vision. So she kept breaking things in the kitchen. So what we did was we went out and bought her plastic glasses, plastic plates, things like that. So if they did fall, because she couldn't hardly see to clean up the glass.
Right.
And so I was just mentioning that in case anybody has that issue, or like me, and they're a klutz, period.
Right. I mean, you can always still save your nice dishes for when you have company, but when you're home by yourself, there's no need to, introduce any kind of hazard if you don't have to. So yeah, the plastic would be a great idea. Those melamine plates and things like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
I want to mention that a lot of issues in the home can be fixed by just moving a little bit slower. I often have friends and clients at the Lighthouse who they're like speed demons. It's like, slow down, be a little more methodical with your movements around the house. And like you said, sort of keeping track of where you're putting things or where there might be water on the floor. If you move a little bit slower, you can actually think about those things instead of just, I need to get, from point A to point B as soon as possible. So
that's why I was saying, when you go into a room, think about that. What has happened in this room before? Your past knowledge, I've tripped over this or tripped over that. Did I fix that problem, or am I going to trip again? And like I said, in the bathroom, maybe somebody else took a bath and didn't wipe up. So be, prepared that there may be water on the floor, even though it wasn't from you. So I think that's really your best bet is, like you said, slow down when you're entering a room. Make sure I'm going in the bathroom and these are the potential hazards and I need to take my time.
And the other thing is to do one task all the way through, complete it, and then go on to the next task. Because if you partially complete one task and then go on to something else, all bets are off. You can start knocking over the first thing, or you never get that done. And it's just, will keep your mind focused, and you'll have that done. Then you can move on to the next thing. And moving slower is a good thing to do.
Did my husband call in and talk to you, Kathy?
I didn't want to say so, but
I'm notorious for starting one thing and then going off on a tangent. So yeah, and that could pose a really big problem if you say, oh, well, I'm going to go back to that, and you don't know where you left off, and now you've just tripped over something that you put on the floor. That's a very good point.
Shiny.
It's a little different, but we do want our homes to be our homes, and where we can relax, where we can entertain and really enjoy ourselves. So let's try and make it as safe as possible. And anybody have any other comments or questions?
if no one has any comments or questions, I want to open this time up for any resources that are needed.